Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the program. Thank you so much for watching Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. My name is Anthony, here to give you a perspective on the financial markets, both domestic and regional, but as well as the global markets here and there, and getting to spot for you some of the opportunities therein. This show is proudly brought to you by Altex East Africa, your #1 private stock exchange. With Altex now, you can buy bonds across East Africa by simply dialing *292# and following the prompts. You can be able to buy both long-term, as long as 20 years, 10 years treasury bonds, but also the shorter term, 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. And these, of course, coming at the interest rate in the bond market, which is one of the biggest, the markets with the biggest yield currently, as per data, of course, from the different financial market segments. Now, with Altex East Africa, they're saying you can make this investment simple. You simply need to have money on your mobile phone or your mobile wallet and transfer that money off your mobile phone onto the exchange. Simply dial *292# to be able to invest. Altex East Africa, doing something new. Talking about something new, we are now in, of course, the fourth week of January, and this week, of course, we will be celebrating the NRM Liberation Day. In as far as the financial markets are concerned, of course, here in Uganda, we did not have the Capital Markets Authority in place till late 1997, and later on in 1999 as well there. So that's something for us to look ahead in this week, and of course that will be a public holiday, and could call definitely for the close of the markets on that day. You just have to simply keep watch of the market today and tomorrow, as well as Wednesday and then Friday as well. So we're going to have a total of 4 days of trading, both night and day. Of course, get into the Uganda Securities Exchange, things looked pretty much better on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Looking at the all-share index values here, the benchmark index, which is commonly known as the all-share index, went up by 0.90 points. Now, this was closing at a 1-week gain of 1.92%, and an overall weight, when you look at the overall year-to-date loss, it's currently about 0.18%. And that's the benchmark index, or the all-share index at the Uganda Securities Exchange. Basically, the day ended at the last weekday of trading with close to 304,872 shares that were traded on the market at the Uganda Securities Exchange, corresponding to a total market value of over 54,889,630 shares, Ugandan shillings. And this was, according to the data here, a 42% decline in the volume and 37% decline in the turnover as well. The current market capitalization currently is 20.9 trillion Ugandan shillings. Now, on aggregate, after the participants, the main exchange listings that actually got to participate were just two: Nation Media Group, and as well as the Nation Media Group coming here, and as well as MTN Uganda and DFCU. So MTN and DFCU, as well as Equity, these were the only movers on the market. When you look at the top gainers, we had Nation Media Group coming in at the top of the gainers with a 1.59% gain on the market, and this was to 483.46 Ugandan shillings per share. KCB Group as well led at a 1.09% gain, and Kenya Airways definitely by 0.04%, as well as Kenya when you look at the listings from Kenya here, the Equity Bank listings, the Equity Bank listing also lost close to 0.4% of its value on the market. Now, apparently, there has been no trading on Umeme, and this was the first day in the entire week that Umeme had no single share that was bought or sold at the Uganda Stock Exchange. The other big mover last week was Uganda Clays, who had nothing this week as well. And National Insurance Corporation, I do still remember that Nation Media Group was a gainer a couple of days ago. When you look at the monitoring of the performance of this stock, their stock has actually been one of those most active stocks on the Uganda Securities Exchange. In terms of trade, MTN recorded the biggest volume at 377,000 shares. And then when you look at Centum Investments, there was nothing. Sipla Quality Chemical Industries as well had nothing for their trading. And DFCU Bank this time round came in with a volume of over 35 shares that were traded, valued at 542 shillings per share on the market. Currently looking at also MTN Uganda. MTN tried to remain consistent throughout the week and appeared amongst the movers list even this time round on the Uganda Securities Exchange. Currently, this is one of the most valuable companies, and in position, it's in the second place amongst the most valuable companies on the stock exchange. And this is with a total trillion of about 3.03 trillion, which makes about, when you look at the MTN bounding at 19.3%, it means definitely we have some sort of value that was reserved at MTN at this particular day of trading. On the side of the volumes, we had over close to 304,837 shares that were traded, and these were valued at 54.9 million. That makes MTN the biggest trader of the day via volumes and via market value as well for storage. So when you look at the shares outstanding at 22.4 billion, we still have a lot of shares out there, and they are ready for you to pick up. Remember, MTN also being one of the unique IPOs, it's kind of trying to regain its strength and probably go back to what we had during the initial public offer. The market capitalization of the Uganda Securities Exchange currently stands at 4.03 trillion via MTN Uganda. MTN in the last 3 months is the third most traded on stock, and this comes at a time, of course, when the company has traded close to 22.2 million shares valued at 3.99 billion, which is of course trying to catch up with that of Umeme as well. So probably it is safer for you to rub off some of these shares at MTN Uganda and try to get some bit of shareholding before it's too late as well. DFCU returned to the market activity list with a total gain of close to nothing, and this was to remain at a price of 542 shillings per share. And this of course means the company is also trading for one of the very first days in the year 2023, and this is in this period close to 1.94%. They just traded a very small volume, 35 shares, nothing really much happened, and this was at 18,970 Ugandan shillings. However, DFCU Bank has a total of close to 748 million shares that are floated on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and these are valued at 405 billion Ugandan shillings currently. Away from Stanbic Bank Uganda, that's basically what we had as participation as well as training on this. Remember, you must be able to diversify your portfolio as an investor right now, currently, in the current financial economic times. You must be very vigilant as you invest your money. You must be taking precautions because it takes a lot of risk currently to be in the world of investment. And one of the ways you can avert the risks is by diversification. So that is it from the Uganda Securities Exchange. Markets are open right now. The stockbrokers' lines are open. Remember, to buy shares, you must have an account. This is known as the Securities Central Depository Account. Now, this SCD account, or Securities Central Depository Account, is what we use to be able to buy or sell shares. It acts as a store of shares and where you can be able to keep these shares when you buy them. To be able to participate in the trading, you open this account via www.use.org.com. And when you do that, you will get, of course, an email and different other means of verifying what you are actually about to input as your new, account and signing in. Definitely, that will be captured by the system, and that will go a long way in helping you get your journey started. Away from the Uganda Securities Exchange, Nairobi as well had a good day. From the look of things here at the Nairobi Securities Exchange. In summary, about 9 million shares were traded at exactly about 899 deals in close to ending with a total market value of close to 191,000 shillings, Kenyan shillings. And comparing this with the previous day, the Nairobi Securities Exchange registered 22% decline in the volumes and close to compared with the last day, 1.93 trillion Kenyan shillings worth of market capitalization. In aggregate, over 47 listed equities participated in trading, ending the day with 16 gainers and 21 losers. Sasini Tea and Coffee led the gainers at 5.67%. Yeah, Sasini Tea is coming back strongly on the Nairobi Stock Exchange this time round with this gain of over 5.67%, with an appreciation closing to over 21.45 Kenyan shillings per share. It's followed closely by Stanley Fahari Income Re-IT at 4.26% appreciation, and Umeme at 3.91% appreciation. Safaricom also gained the 3.68%. On the losing side, however, we did have close to Flame Tree Group Holdings with an end of day price depreciation of 6.67%, as well as Olympia Capital Holdings coming in at the bottom of the table down there. And then Home Africa had about 6.25% decline, and Safaricom recorded the biggest volume there at over 2.45 million traded shares, and followed by Kenya Reinsurance Company at 1.81 million shares that were recorded. Equity Group Holdings continued also to appreciate in value, but also trade the biggest volumes at 1.35 million shares, and KCB Group had 1.1 million shares as well. Regarding the performance of the Nairobi Stock Exchange All Share Index, it increased by 2.07 points, and this was a 1.69% gain there, closing at 124.27 points. Currently, Nairobi Securities Exchange is recovering, and just looking at their performance in 1 week, they have gained over 0.82% on their, when you look at their weekly performance, they have gained that 0.82%, and their 4-week loss currently is also standing at 3.18%, a little bit of reduction there as well in their 3 weeks loss. Other remarkable indices like the NSE 20 and NSE 25 appreciated as well, with the NSE 25 appreciating by 0.86%, and the NSE 20 appreciating by 0.086% as well on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. So this is it. This is where we have the markets currently standing, stabilizing, and you can trade in Nairobi as well. Remember, we are looking at a common market very soon, where we want to see every player come together and see that our markets get to merge as East Africans and have a common market that will probably eliminate the current fees that are involved in the transactions, and also getting to the different shareholders in the different regions. Those barriers will actually be broken down, and so that's exactly where we want to head currently. Away from Nairobi Securities Exchange, getting to the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which is the biggest stock exchange in Africa. According to data from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, the J203, which is the benchmark index of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, lost some good value. And when you look at the number of participants, we had over close to 321 companies, and these were ending with 88 gainers and 193 losers. Owando led the gainers with a 12.5% gain, and the City Lodge hotels gained as well, about 6.8% on their value, and Brimstone Investment Corporation gained a 6.39%, whereas the African Equity Empire Investments as well gained close to 6.33%. On the losing side, however, we did have Quantum Foods Holdings come out last with an end-of-day price depreciation of 15.92% at a 4.86 South African Rand pricing as per share, followed by Choppies Enterprises closing at 9.89% depreciation, and Mr. Price Group at 7.28% depreciation. PPC as well lost close to 7.26%. In as far as the shares are concerned, Netcare led the gainers with 18.8 million shares that were recorded, and RMB Holdings also gained a little bit of value with over 18 million shares, and Fortress Re-IT Limited at 12.1 million shares as well. The First Rand as well gained 11.5 million shares. Now, as I mentioned, the J203 lost over 235 points on their on this benchmark index, which closed at 79,269 points. This represents currently a 1-week loss of 0.81 as well. And when you look at the gain in 4 weeks, it's currently standing at 8.53%. At least some good news there for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. In 4 weeks, we're still looking at a gain, but in the longer run, the losses are still significant, and in the short run as well. Getting back to, of course, now the US and global financial markets, the stock markets in the United States got to increase, led by especially the tech stocks, Tesla, including Tesla, Amazon, Facebook, Meta, and so on and so forth. The Nasdaq rose with the biggest value for the end of the day Friday tradings. Now the US stocks rallied, closing the Friday markets on an upbeat note, led by strong gains in the tech sector, with the S&P 500 finishing Friday with up to 1.9% appreciation, though of course it had still closed the week down at 0.7%, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average increased 1.0% on Friday. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite closed at 2.9%, which is its biggest and only gainer here, and that is on the United States Stock Exchange. There you have it, my friend. That's it from us today, and I hope to catch you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Remember to invest with Altex East Africa, your #1 private stock exchange. At Altex, we say you can do something new. Whatever you do, make sure you're doing something new by investing in treasury bonds across East Africa using your mobile phone. You can now simply dial *292# to follow the prompts, and you will be able to register and start your journey of investment. And that's it from me and the team. More programming coming ahead, of course, business content 24/7 and Smart 24 TV, where we drive your business. My name is Anthony. Bye for now.